There was a heated exchange in the White House press briefing room where CBS News reporter Ed O'Keefe started to probe ridiculously into Biden's health, insinuating that the administration is hiding something from the American people. This is really getting out of control. But Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, pushed back forcefully, and rightfully so. You've got to see this exchange. I'll show you guys all the clips coming right up. For the last week and a half, the White House press corps has been attacking the Biden administration as if they're trying to hide some sort of neurological disorder that the president has from the American people. The press is acting like they're on to the biggest story of their career, and this is a huge scandal, where as it stands, Biden has released his medical records. He's had multiple physicals, including a neurological exam, as recently as February. But that hasn't stopped the press from being absolutely rude and ridiculous towards Biden's press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. And I'll just say, I don't remember behavior like this when Jen Psaki was the press secretary. Take a look at how it all started.
She was on the credibility of this White House when it comes to talking about the president's health. When you were here last Tuesday, you were asked if the president had had any medical examinations since his physical in February, or that included the time period after the debate. You said flatly no. 3 days later, you admitted that the president had a quote, short check-in with the medical team thereafter. I mean, those are two very different answers.
No. Actually, if you were to listen to I think I did a 30-minute gaggle on Friday, 30 minutes with I think it was with the pool. And I said he did not have a medical. I cleared it up. You're right. You're correct. I said he didn't. I still stand, but he didn't have a medical exam. I said that in the gaggle, and you're right. I said that in the briefing. He had a check-in with, and he said this on Friday. He had a check-in with his medical doctor, which is something that he does a couple times a week, as you know, and I stated this as well.
That was Zeke Miller from the Associated Press, kicking off the press briefing in the most ridiculous fashion possible by insinuating, not even insinuating, stating flat out that the White House's credibility is being questioned because of how they've talked about Biden's health. Well, that is ridiculous. He's saying that Karine Jean-Pierre claimed that President Biden didn't have a medical exam after the debate and then admitted he had a check-in with his doctor. Well, she goes on to explain that this is a regular thing that happens, that Biden speaks to his doctor multiple times a week with a verbal check-in, probably just over the phone. So this is not a medical exam. She did not lie to anybody, and it's crazy that these reporters are even wagging their finger at the Biden administration when they've been nothing but transparent for the last 3.5 years. Now, things went downhill from there when CBS News reporter Ed O'Keefe decided to pile on Karine Jean-Pierre.
That's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a second.
Not what you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait, no. No, wait a minute. Ed, please. A little respect here, please. So every year, around the president's physical examination, he sees a neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am telling you that he has seen a neurologist 3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you that he has seen them 3 times. That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It is. You're
Dr.
asking me.
Kevin Kennard, come to the White House.
But I also said to you, Ed, I also said to you, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names. We have to.
Others he would have met with.
We cannot
You can share names in regards to if someone came here in regards to the president.
We cannot share names of specialists broadly, from a dermatologist to a neurologist.
So these reporters are flipping out because they've uncovered White House visitor logs that show a neurologist came to the White House multiple times over an 8-month period, including having a meeting with the White House physician. Well, we don't know what the subject was of those visits. Perhaps the guy was coming to talk about his expertise in order to shape policy. Maybe there was some concern that Biden had Parkinson's and they wanted to talk to this doctor to get his feedback on that. But that's private and that's up to Biden. Unless he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease or some neurological disorder, then what right do we have to know that they were concerned about that and then it was dismissed or whatever by some specialists?
We cannot share names. There are security reasons. We have to protect.
It's public.
I understand that.
I hear you. It's right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
You shouldn't have the doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is public.
Public information.
I hear you.
And you're going to allow this to fester longer, Karine, unless the White House answers the
hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Miffed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps around here.
What do you missed about? What do you missed about?
Everything he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean up.
I never answered the question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered.
Boy, these guys are something else. They really think they're onto something here, that the Biden administration is involved in the scandal of the century by hiding some sort of neurological problem that Biden has from the American people. Well, we can all see Biden on a regular basis, and we see that there's nothing wrong with him. He had a bad night during the debate. He is old as dirt. He's going to struggle to make his points from time to time. He's going to forget things. But I look at the results. And so it's infuriating, even implying that this administration, who has fought so hard to be truthful and transparent with the American people, is now being accused of hiding such a serious thing from the American people. Totally ridiculous. Now, speaking of being miffed, Karine Jean-Pierre decided to come back to the rude treatment that she got at the beginning of the press conference and let these reporters know that this is not acceptable behavior. Watch this.
I just want to take a step back for a second because I do take offense to what Ed alluded to. You know, come out here, every day there's a press briefing, and we do our best to give you the information that we have at the time. That's what we do. And we understand that freedom of the press, we respect the freedom of the press. You heard me talk about this last week. I appreciate the back and forth that we all have. I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me. And we literally do everything that we can. My team does everything that we can to make sure we get the answers to you. That's what we do. And sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we are not in agreement. But you know what? That's democracy. That is what is important, to have that healthy back and forth. And so to say that I'm holding information or allude to anything else is not unfair. It's really, really unfair. I think people who are watching and have been watching this briefing for this past week could say that we are doing our best in this briefing to provide the information that we have. And I will admit, I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I get it wrong. At least I admit that. At least I admit that. And sometimes I don't have the information. And I will always, always admit that. But I do take offense to what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing. It's not okay.
I agree with Karine Jean-Pierre that this is not okay. The press should not be shouting at her and insinuating that the White House is withholding information purposefully from the American people to mislead them and trick them. This is just wild. President Biden has been very open about his health. He's old. He's going to have some hiccups, but we take the good with the bad. We're lucky to have a president this old because of his experience, his knowledge, his relationships. I mean, what he's delivered over the last 3.5 years has been incredible. And we can see him every single day and decide for ourselves if he has the ability to keep going. And when you vote for a president, you're not just voting for one person, and if something happens to that person, everything falls to the wayside. You're voting for an administration. If Joe Biden were to be unable to do his job in the future, then I'm confident Kamala Harris would pick up right where he left off, and the administration would continue to deliver on the policy objectives that he is pursuing. So I don't know why the press is freaking out about this stuff, but I think they're looking a little silly, And I'm glad to see Karine Jean-Pierre pushing back and letting them know that this is not acceptable behavior in the press briefing room.